welcome to Today at the Races. And as per yesterday, Tim Tulloch, we've got you morning and afternoon. Tim, we had about six prices go out, double-digit prices, but the highest prices being the last race in Dare to Vite for Linda Albert in the last $54 payout, and then Midnight Renegade in the sixth in that jackpot race, a $33 winner.
Yeah, well, the whole day was a little crazy. Early pick 5 paid $12,900, super high 5, even though we have a carryover of $359,000. It still paid off $7,045. Late pick 4, $11,260. And, of course, we have a carryover in late pick 5 today. So we have 3 big carryovers to today's card.
And we will get to that. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got going on outside right now. We just had the conversation that we've been running into some good weather, knock on wood, lately, and that's going to continue on through the day. The turf is looking pretty good out there, and so is the dirt. Tim, let's get cracking with this card today here. Starting in race number 1, of course, that early pick 5, Tim, as you talked about earlier, starts in this maiden claiming $45,000, going a mile and an eighth on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Tim, let's go ahead and talk about Emotional Rescue, your top selection for Graham Motion. William Humphrey, we've got a replay back from the 6th of May in race 11, just making that effort in the first time on the turf.
Yeah, this is the first time he stretched out and the first time he got on the grass, his second start of his career, and he makes a nice run here, coming to the wire, gets in between horses here, is coming up here, and is going to eventually run 5th. He only gets beat a length and a half for the whole thing and keeps on closing. But here's the thing. He was very eager the first part of the race. I think he can be very placed much closer this afternoon, especially going a mile and eighth. Now, he does have some speed down the inside with the one Master Uguay, but I think he's going to be forwardly placed. I think he'll relax a little bit out there on the outside and maybe closer to the pace and still be able to come with some finish, but the mile and eighth should not be a problem for him. He's got that race underneath him, and I think he's going to really benefit from just being closer and be able to relax on the outside.
And I think that's going to be able to happen. You mentioned Master Uguay already in your exact, going to be the projected speed of the race. Sheldon Russell taking the call last time out. Does that discourage you, that Gulfstream Park effort last time out at all?
No, the 7.5 furlongs really doesn't bother me at all. You look back at the races going 2 turns at Gulfstream on the turf course. He got to the front. He goes back 2 turns today, and he's going a mile and eighth. So he should be able to make the lead even easier this afternoon. I expect my top pick, Emotional Rescue, to kind of lay off there a little bit. He's got the inside draw, so you can expect to see the same this afternoon. He's going to get to the front.
And there we have it. Tim Tulloch, 8-1-3-7 at the start of the early pick 5. Now let's go ahead to the early pick 4. Tim, you've got a ticket lined up for us in lieu of Keith Fusel this afternoon. Let's see how you play it.
Yeah, here we go. We're going to go 4 deep in race 2, 2 lifetime 10,000. I'm going to use the 4, the 5, the 6, and the 9. In race 3, I'm going to use the 5 and the 6, the 6 Northern Rye. I think we both have that one on top in race 3. Race 4 is my single. I'm going to single on the 2, Esperana, getting back to this level, drawing inside and being virtually the only speed in the race. And in race 5, I'm going to go 4, 5, 7, $12 ticket for the early pick 4.
And of course, that is in that claiming 10,000 for the 3-year-olds, which have never won, 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Tim, you've got the number 9 on top in the last skip for Suzanne Stettinius. J-Ron Barbosa gets the call this time. He's only ridden one other time for her, which it was a while ago, so it's going to be an interesting meetup here.
Yeah, the last sip gets back into the barn of Suzanne Stettinius. She claimed this one back, had previously been in her barn, returning here at this same level off a solid effort that he ran in January. So he's had a little bit of time off, but he comes in here with good solid works right here at Pimlico. You look down at his work tab, and Suzanne Stettinius wanted him back, and that's always a good sign.
Well, and then, of course, you've got another one walking right out of the stall in Miss You Ajax for Kieran McGee. A nice performance in that last time out, so you can just hope for that continuation of those nice performances, even when that was back at Laurel Park.
Well, look, this one's getting 11 to 17 pounds from most of the field, virtually all the field, maybe just only a few pounds from the 4 sheer element. Good race in her most recent at Laurel, turning back to 3/4 of a mile today. But again, we've got the home track advantage here a little bit for these horses who always have to ship, get to stay and run right out of their stalls.
What about Street Hustle? Annette Eubanks, William Humphrey just came off of a layoff in a good fashion last time out. And while it's not Annette's strongest, the jock-trainer combo seems to be doing well as of lately.
Well, we're turning back to 3/4 of a mile. Not a bad race, going 7/8 of a mile. He's only run 3/4 once in his life and didn't hit the board. So the question is, will the 3/4 of a mile work for him? Got outrun going a mile and then backed up against tougher. Laid close going 7/8 against the same type and then backed up. But just he's probably not going to be fast enough to lay close. He'll be able to lay close, but to get to the front as he did going 7/8 of a mile. But maybe he can close up a little bit.
Race number 3 is a maiden claiming 45, going a mile and 1/8 on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Scratching the number 12, Tio Tony. Tim, you and I both have the number 6, Northern Rye on top. Let's go ahead and take a look at this Michael Trombetta trainee back also on the 5th of May from the top of the stretch onwards.
Yeah, here he comes, and he's gets up in between horses a little bit. He's coming with Runyon. You're going to see him get a little bit green here toward the outside. He starts to lug in a little bit. He wants to lay in on those other horses right here. And Carrasco's got to straighten him back out. Once he gets him straightened back out, gets him back on that right lead, he starts to run a little bit and finishes up that particular afternoon. He's had a sharp work since that last race, and that was a solid effort. Stretching to 9 furlongs for him this afternoon should not be an issue for Northern Rye at all. Ran a good solid figure first time out.
Dam Sire exchange rate is 17% second time on the turf, so that certainly helps out Northern Rye as well. You also have the number 5 Library of Congress, Graham Motion, Fergal Lynch. Why not? Absolutely back turning things long on the turf. Graham Motion, 28% when stretching them out.
Yeah, look, the short break, coming off the short break, ran pretty good, about 18%. Had trouble at the break and debut when going 7/8 of a mile on the main track. Getting on the grass this afternoon. The dam had 2 starts on the turf that were okay. The second dam was a multiple graded stakes. We were on the grass, so the pedigree's there for Library of Congress to move forward on the turf this afternoon.
And Tim Tull goes 6-5-4-2 there in race number 3. Race number 4 kicks off another carryover like Tim mentioned, and that is the Rainbow Pick 6, 385,700 to start off in race number 4. Let me lay out my ticket structure for you. I couldn't find a single. Wasn't in love with anybody today here. So 2, 4, 4, 5, and 1, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Race number 7, I go 4 deep in there with the 1, 2, 6, and 7. Let me scroll and check on my top selection in that race. Well, that's a 4.5 maiden special weight. You absolutely do have to go 4 wide on that, even if you do feel pretty strongly, because that anything can happen in that short of a quick turnaround race. 5, 8, 9, and race number 8, the 8 being my top selection. I take a stab on a bit of a price and threat level midnight, and then in the nightcap, I go 6 and 7. Love You Bye Bye is my top selection, $38.40. Just to give you a simple structure, definitely spread wide if you need to, but it does start in this claiming 5,000 for the girls 3 years old and up, a mile and 16th on the dirt. Tim, you have the number 2 Esperana. Anthony Ferry had a good winner yesterday with Axel Concepcion here. Let's take a look at Esperana back on the 14th of April from the top of the stretch to the wire.
Yeah, this was in a starter nickel race, and Esperana had done all the work all the way around there. This is a good effort. Now, she does get caught by Barista Vixen that particular day, but not because she wasn't trying, not because she didn't do all the work. Now, keep in mind, she's 4-1 here. Barista Vixen was 6-5 that day. Should have won. Certainly didn't win like a 6-5 shot should. Did come back out of that race and win again. Barista Vixen did. Draw a line through that race at Penn National. Tried the first level allowance condition up there. Didn't work. Gets back in here at the bottom. Open 5,000. Has the fence, has speed. She'll be going to the front. She's going to take this field a long way, just like she did the last time when she ran around this type of level. But I don't think anyone's going to get to her this afternoon, and she is my single on my early pick 4.
What about the number 4? Love is Strong for Daniel McKenzie. Louis Rivera Jr. getting the call. Had an uptick in pattern change last time out, and that just seemed, and with the drop down, seemed to make all the difference. Can we get a repeat performance?
Well, possibly. I mean, stepping up today out of that beaten 5,000. 1,000 level to the open nickel level, but certainly picked her head up in that most recent start. She needs pace in front of her. Her best races are when she can stalk a good pace. You look down her form, Penn last November, also Penn last August, where she can stalk a pace, even her most recent start, where she can stalk and finish. But if Esperanza gets loose on the lead, it's going to make her job just a little bit more difficult.
Louis Rivera Jr. and Daniel McKenzie, when they team up, 5 for 7, either first or second, as of lately on the dirt. So that's something that I certainly paid attention to. But Tim Tulloch, you go 2-4-1-6 there in race number 4, and we will be right back after this commercial break to talk about the rest of the card.
Introducing the first racing tool from Pegasus to Preakness. Iconic venues. World-class racing. Millions at stake. New champions will be crowned. Only at first.
And of course, National Treasure was crowned that champion last Saturday. But Tim, we're at another carryover again. This is the late pick 5 carryover, 36,279. That does start in race number 5, and it goes ahead in this maiden, claiming 12-5 for the 3-4-5-year-old girls, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Scratch in the number 2 West Coast Wildcat. Scratch in the number 6 Lily Moore. You land on the number 5 Watch Me Disappear. Tim Keefe, William Humphrey gets the call on this one. Returns back the second time out in 2023 today.
Does. Big scratch in the 2 West Coast Wildcat for Brittany Russell. That was originally my top pick. But Watch Me Disappear, second off a break here this afternoon, returns at the same level, ran into a very easy winner most recently. I Have Courage, who ran off and hid that day by 14.5. Someone had to run second. She did. But she has a couple of races back on her form. They were all on the grass, but she's at this bottom level on the dirt. There's no I Have Courage in here this afternoon. It should be good enough for her to get the job done.
I took a stab. Why not on a first-time starter? You have this one in your exacta. Tulip Lil, Jerry Robb, Xavier Perez, Bourbon's Courage, Linehearted, average 12-13% with those first-time starters. But the works are not impressive, so I can understand why you have this one underneath. But I just went ahead and took a stab at this one.
Well entered. I mean, the works are fine for the way she's entered. I mean, she's working a 59 and change. She wouldn't be in for the 12-5, but debuts with Lasix for Jerry Robb. We know Jerry Robb's very, very good with his first-time starter, so you have to take a shot with Tulip Lil.
And of course, so you go 5-4-7-1 in there, Thunder Boss. The biggest thing is a drop down with this one, blinkers off. 0 for 6 with Rudy as of lately with blinkers off, but gotta have that one underneath just due to the drop.
Well, you have to, because you're back. Two things are happening here. We're getting back to a realistic level, and we've taken the blinkers off. Now, was it the blinkers on that was making this one not run well over her last 2 starts, the turf and the dirt? Or was it simply the level? I'm leaning toward it was simply the level. We need to get back down to this 12-5 level. Broke the maiden at 12-5, in for 2 for, didn't break the maiden, but ran second for the 12-5. Needs to be at this level. Brittany Russell's not going to give anything away. Typically, they are what they are when you get them, and they're tough to move up on.
A bit, agreed, a bit. Getting back down to beneficial basics for Thunder Boss today after being all over the place in the last 2 starts. But race number 6 is, of course, that jackpot, super high 5, and that pool is now at 359,601. And this is a 1.125 turf event, claiming 16, never win 2 for the girls, 3 years old and up. Tim, you have the number 8 on top. Toss a coin. This is a move that I'm very interested in. Tim Keith, Horacio Caramanos. The last time they tried this move, it wasn't a bad one.
Oh, no, look, the last time this one was on the turf was at Laurel last September. It was in for the 2 for 25. It was in for the 2 for 16 this afternoon. Ran a good race that day, 63 by her speed figure, lifetime best. Only got beat 3.5 lengths on the grass that afternoon. Has not seen the grass since then. Tried the 2 lifetime 16,000 back in March on the main track. That didn't work. We get back on the grass at this low level. I think it can work for Toss a Coin, Karamanos, and Keefe.
Things that make sense there for Toss a Coin. The number 4, Lotta Class, Little Sass, TJ Aguirre, J-Ron Barbosa. This is another one that's returning back to the turf. The last time we saw this one in the 2022 campaign, it wasn't too terrible at those efforts either.
No, and you go back to Pimlico last September. That was a good race for the maiden 16. Came out of the next race and would win an off-the-turf event at the Laurel. Is well spotted today, getting back on the grass. Barbosa is going to get the call this afternoon for TJ, so I'm going to take a little stand for a lot of class, a little sass.
There we go. And of course, just out of some curiosity, Blueberry Pie, McLean Hendricks, Axel Concepcion. You have this one underneath as well as I do. This one is returning back to the races for 2023, but the first time on the turf for 2022 wasn't a bad effort, and that's kind of what I'm keying off other than the win, but that first second off the layoff is what I'm looking at, Tim.
Yeah, the September 28th race can work here. When she broke her maiden up there at Park. She comes in here with a good series of works for McLean Hendricks, and is getting Axel Concepcion. So I think there's some positives there for sure.
Toss a coin. Tim Tulloch's top selection there, 8, 4, 6, 7 in race number 6. Race number 7 is that maiden special weight, 4.5 on the dirt. For the straight 2-year-olds, you and I both have Malibu Slew on top, John Salzman Jr. on the outside of Wine Out with Toledo on top.
Yeah, I mean, it's a firster for John Jr. I mean, you just have to pay attention to them. He's won 2 with first-time starters, 2-year-olds this year. Sharp works, 3/8 of a mile, 35 and 4 at Laurel. So you know this one has some gas, 48 flat, going half mile on May 12th. So it's all about the connections here. Malibu Moon, Skip Along, was okay on the racetrack. Her second dam was just okay on the racetrack because I happen to train her. But it's a good family, the Skip Along and Skip Stone. It's a good family there. So I think there's enough there for Malibu Slew.
Okay, there we have it. And then, of course, Toledo and John Salzman Jr., 4 for 8 as of lately on the dirt, and a second and a third to wrap that up. So 6 for 8 in the money when those two team up, especially for a race like this. Let's go from the outside to the inside in the number 1 under the overpass for the Russells. Of course, you can't. The thing that just kind of knocked me right away was that inside post.
Sure. I mean, you've got to pay attention to the inside post, but Brittany's horses typically come very well prepared, but it's still something you have to take in consideration. She's been working well up there at Delaware Park, good half mile, May 6th from the gate, so being sharp out of the gate is going to be important. This one's out of a pretty nice mare. The mare was 8 for 12, 1, 2, or 3. She's a multiple stakes placed runner by Tri-Tap, so there's enough blood there. But again, going to have to deal with the inside post. The beauty of it is Sheldon can be a patient guy. If he doesn't get away well, he might just let her kind of hang back there and come with a little bit of a run. We saw that yesterday in the 2-year-old race where the winner came from pretty far back, I think,
yes,
to get the job done. Not too far back, but came from off the pace. So, and we saw that with low mileage and John Salzman's first 2-year-old winner this year. So
check out this
just gonna have to deal with it. That's all.
We also have Why So Quiet and Got It underneath. Anything particularly standing out about either of those two?
Yeah, Why So Quiet? A Warrior's Reward out of a mare who was 7 for 21 in her career. She was a stakes winner. She won at second asking. She was second first time out, and it's Jerry Robb, who's always very good with these young horses, and comes in with a good solid work tab.
Ron Potts, as of lately, 3 for 6 in his first-time starters, specifically with the 2-year-olds as of late. So that's 1, 2, 3 in the money there out of 6 starts for Ron Potts. As we go 7, 1, 6, 2 in that 7th race, that maiden special weight. Race number 8 is a starter optional, claiming 20,000, going short on the turf for the girls 3 years old and up. Scratch in the number 4, Condescending. Tim, you have a Shasta Star on top for Bob Caceres, gets Horacio Karamanos. Let's go ahead and take a look at that last effort on the 6th of May as well.
Yeah, this was a big effort. It doesn't really take a whole lot of commentating. She just gets the job done. You see there in the white bridle. She has to now duck to the inside. And once she got to the inside, it was all over except for the picture, because she just absolutely powers away from this bunch at Laurel Park on the 6th of May. That afternoon, Karamanos returns this afternoon. She's a 10-time winner. She's 3 for 3 on the grass. She knows a way to find the winner circle. You see, she was an easy winner there. She's back in a similar spot. I think there's going to be enough flow for her once again, and Shasta Star, I think, is going to. The race goes through the 9, Shasta Star for sure.
It does, and I believe I just got an update that we do have a scratch in the number 7 in this race. So Lily Simone, just keep an eye out. Dave Rodman will also have that update as well after this show. But then, of course, we also talk about the number 5, Bundle of Joy, Kathleen DeMasi, Toledo on top. She's just a hard barn to deny on the turf right now.
Absolutely. Her turf sprinters, we talked about it yesterday. We're going to talk about it again today because she has 2 in this race. Bundle of Joy has been very, very good for Kathleen since she got her on the grass late last year, midsummer, July, August, and September. All 3 good races. She ran a lifetime best to close out 2022. She's got solid works for a return. So the question is, she stopped racing on the turf in 2022. Maybe she had some issues that Kathleen had to deal with because we still have another month and a half or so of turf season left. But she looks like she's returning very, very well with these works. And again, Kathleen is very tough with her turf sprinters, and you get Javion Toledo.
As Tim mentioned, the race runs through Shasta Star. Morning line 2-1 at Simtal. It goes 9-5-3-1 there in race number 8. Race number 9, nightcap of the day, is a maiden claiming 12-5 for the 6, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-old. Scratch in the number 2 appendage, scratch in the 3 distant fire, scratch in the 5 Bubba Chrome. We land on Love You Bye Bye for Tom McMahon, Louis Rivera Jr. Let's go ahead and take a look at that effort back from February at the top of the stretch.
Yeah, no, this is going all the way back to the day Love You Bye Bye broke his maiden. Now, since then, we've been running just a tad over our head, but this was the maiden 12, where he got the job done. Left lead, finally switches back to his right lead late. But it's all about the level. We're getting back to a good level. And I understand they, off the claim, McMahon ran this one for the maiden 30, ran pretty well, only got beat 4 lengths and while running second. But after that, the 13 and then the turf, we've got to realize that, okay, we need to get back to where this one probably belongs. Had tried those other races, maiden 40s, without success before. But we're back in here in a good spot, and that's all that matters. It was 9-2 on the line, but with the scratches of the 2, 3, and 5, this was my original price play of the day. But with late scratches, I'm certainly not going to get. This one could very well go off as a favorite. Maybe the 7,000 Isles, who we both have, could there. Lifetime best for Frock, first time in the Frock barn on May 6th. Again, getting led over right from the barn here this afternoon and getting Barboso once again. That was a pretty good effort down there at Laurel.
It teased me a little bit because at first I had Love You Bye Bye on top, and then I switched over to 1,000 Idols, and then I switched back over, but because I was just so, but it was basically the drop down and the realism with Love You Bye Bye that kind of got me back to the number 6 on top. And there we have it as Tim Tullett goes 6, 7, 4, 8 in that nightcap. And let's dig ahead into lightning round where we kind of touch in a little bit more. And let's start with your best bet, Tim, in race number 1, number 8, Emotional Rescue for Graham Motion.
Yeah, if I can find my paper again, but I've got it pretty much memorized. Look, this horse is coming second time on the grass going long for Graham. First time on the grass, we saw that replay earlier. It was a nice race. He was a little eager early, but he gets an outside draw this afternoon. I think William Humphrey can let him relax off the speed, but in the clear, but laying very close, going 1 mile and an eighth. He'll come with enough finish to get the job done this afternoon. My price play again was Love You Bye Bye in the last. We're not going to get 9-2 or more, unfortunately. But I went through, I couldn't find anything else. But maybe, you never know. Maybe we'll get, 3 or 4 to 1. But we'll see how that all shakes out.
Let's find out. And let's also discuss a couple of these pools. Of course, the Rainbow Pick 6, as I mentioned, 385,700. That does start in race number 4. And then we do have the late pick 5 that is at 36,279. That starts in race number 5. And then, of course, the jackpot super high 5, $359,601, along with a slew of other pools that, Tim, you have picked out as well. But a lot of decent value on your betting action today here in Maryland. And we are going to take it to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches. Thank you.